All right, welcome everyone. Today is December the 29th. It is also known as, as the last trading day of 2023. I want to thank everyone for joining this morning as we close out our year of trading, hopefully with a green day, but we'll see. Hopefully price action is a little stronger than we've seen the last couple of days this week. It was decent on Tuesday. But Wednesday, Thursday has been a bit slower. So let's hope we get some better price action. But in the meantime, while we're looking at price, I want to just do a quick top-down analysis. We look here at the dollar. Remember, we're looking for lower prices this week. We have already gotten lower prices. So this is the last week candle. We've pushed down considerably and now retracing. We move over to the daily. The daily, we can see so far today has mostly been a retracement. There's a fair value gap here that price traded into up to the upper edge of it. And now we're seeing a rejection of that level. What we want to see on the daily, just like the weekly, we want it to see a new low this week. On the daily, we like to see it push for a new low every day. It doesn't always happen, but that's the target. And so far today, we haven't reached down to this level. So we were expecting the dollar to push. Now that it's closed in a fair value gap and rejected out, we're expecting it to push down and compete with the low here. Okay, taking a peek at ES. All right, so ES has already reached a new high this week, which was our expectation. Not a lot to talk about on the weekly, other than we have this fair value gap down. If we do get a retracement, we're not expecting one, and this would actually be a decent retracement for the last 80 years. So maybe into next year we can see this as an area to be concerned about. But as of today, we're still looking for highs. If we get down to the daily, you just want to make sure these candles are larger. You can see yesterday was a pretty small range. Up here, the high, when I put it over the candle, we're looking at 48.41.5 for yesterday as the high. Today, so far, the high has been 48.41.0, so not quite. So we're 2 ticks away from breaking today's high. So that'll be today's target for ES. We want to see ES make a new high, which ultimately will be a high for the year. As we watch price action today, we're looking for new highs for all the indices. ES in particular, because it hasn't taken out yesterday's high yet. 4 hour, not a lot to see there. And the 1 hour, okay, so we have a fair value gap right here that right now ES is trying to close in. We can close that in and close above it and continue to push, and then we can see the high of yesterday potentially taken out. So that's what we're looking for, is for ES to put in a new high. Let's now go and check and see where Nasdaq is and whether Nasdaq has already done what we expect it to do for the day. Okay, here's the weekly chart. So again, we expect a new high for the week, which has already occurred earlier this week. I believe it was either Tuesday or Wednesday. We do have a fair value gap right here. If we do start to see lower prices, and a small one here. But again, we're looking for Nasdaq to continue to put in higher prices. If we get over to the daily, we have a similar story as ES. Yesterday's high was 17,165.25, and so far today we're only at 17,131. Okay, so we're about 30 points off of yesterday's high for Nasdaq. So we have a little bit of room to go. But again, that will be our target for today. So people ask, how do you set your bias? Well, my bias is generally set on the trend on a higher time frame. I'm always looking for the trend to continue on a daily basis. And in this case, we haven't taken out yesterday's high. So my bias today is bullish, and I want to see that high swept. That doesn't mean it's just going to go straight up. It could retrace down and then go up. So it is important that you pay attention and follow price action. But as far as having a bias, my bias is bullish. Okay, here's the hourly. You see we had a fair value gap here that was closed in during the last hour's candle. retraced a bit, and now we're pushing back into that level. So we'll keep watching and see if price can push through, and if the bulls are going to be strong enough this morning to start pushing higher, or if we have to wait until this afternoon. All right, that being said, I'm going to now switch down to a lower time frame. We're still on the Nasdaq, which is the chart that I'm going to be paying attention to today. Let's go ahead and put some of that lipstick back on. Hey, good morning, John. Welcome, everyone. Good to have you. Good to have you. Sorry, I was a couple minutes late. I was in here talking to myself. I thought I was already live just a couple minutes before 10 o'clock. And then I looked down 5 minutes into it and realized I didn't have a good morning message from any of you. So I figured something was wrong. And then I realized that I didn't click the go live button. Hey, Samuel, welcome back. Good to have you. Yeah, I forgot to announce the news. We did have news this morning at 9:45. There was an orange folder from Chicago PMI, which came in below forecast. So that should not be good for currency, pushing currency downwards, which should give us some momentum on the commodity side. And let's see if that actually holds true early this morning, or if it's going to be a delayed reaction. Hope everyone's having a good final trading day of the year. Good Friday. Looking forward to the weekend and celebrating a bit on Monday. All right, see price pushing against me right now. And drawdown is also below the new day opening gap. And see if price can recover that level. Oh, hey, Victor. Welcome back. Good to hear from you. All right, let's see. So far, we have been able to recover the new day opening gap. Up next would be equal highs at the 17,100. If we can eclipse that level. And then from there, then of course, it's the swing highs en route to target. So quite a ways to go before target, but let's see what price wants to do. Okay, so that silver bullet entry didn't work out for us. So I took that entry being bullish for the day and thinking that this was a good moment for that bullish activity to happen. Not to mention we've been having higher lows with the exception of this opening bell sweep of liquidity. Been higher lows and higher highs. But it looks like price may want to range for a little bit longer. So we'll just be patient and look for another entry. Hopefully the same hour, but we'll see. All right, so it made equal lows. I'm going to refill my coffee while I'm waiting for a new setup to come. Hey, good morning, Brad. Welcome back to the channel. Hey, Jello, I'm doing good. Doing good. I'll be right back. Just going to go refill my coffee. Oh, okay, got it. Yeah, being early is definitely an issue. The, the way to overcome being early is just with more back testing, and you can start to see that the first sign of your setup may not always be, especially if it's a reversal. You have to be a bit more patient and believe that not only is the mark that you have set the right mark, but it'll be revisited. So you let price run away, confirm that the new direction is actually in play, and then you let it retrace back to your entry level. Yeah, for anyone who just joined, I had originally attempted a silver bullet trade right here. So when price traded down into it, it took an entry out of this level with a stop loss underneath this swing low, and it came down and tapped the exact level, tapped me out, and now it's just kind of sitting here not doing much. Um, but that was the entry I took already for those who are just joining. So that was probably about 10 minutes ago. So now we'll just look for another setup, potentially a similar one, but we'll see. And let's just mark up these equal lows. So we actually have three here, relative equal lows, right, in a bunch. Um, if price does wants to go lower, then absolutely this is an area it's going to want to tear through on its way down. So we want to mark that out as a potential target. 17,100. Okay. Hello, welcome to the channel. Welcome, good to have you here. What's that, YouTube my? Hey, sorry, just taking some notes so I have something to study later. All right, so if we compare all of our indices against the dollar, right now the dollar is selling exactly the way we wanted it to. It's pushing hard to the downside. The Dow has not moved in 30 minutes. It's made a small wick upwards, small wick downwards, and it's now back at its open price. We have the S&P pushing downwards, pushing towards a daily low. And then we have Nasdaq on par with the S&P. We're around the same boat. All right, so I'm gonna wait and not take my next trade until all of these indices in the dollar are moving in sequence. Okay, there's the equal low taken out, as well as the 930 opening range, almost equaled, one tick away. Settlement. I'm not 100% sure what you mean by settlement. Oh, thank you very much, King Miklo. Thank you. I appreciate it. Oh man, look at that. Wow. So push down to 17,066. Let's see what that level is. Okay, so that's the 815 low. Strange that this is the 815 low. There wasn't any news this morning at 815. But all right. But yeah, till then, I'm just gonna let price settle. Just continue to watch it. Mark out same things I've been marking out highs and lows, fair value gaps, watching price react from those levels. Until we get to where the indices in the dollar are moving in opposite directions. But I need all the indices to move together. It looks like we got a little movement from the Dow now, but just a little bit. S&P and Nasdaq is definitely the leader. So if we do take this 830 level, which is all right, 17,066 even, 17,066 even. We just came down to 17,066.5, so within half a point from the low, but that would be the daily low. So we'll want to pay attention to that if price misses out on a daily high, but then sweeps the daily low. It's either going to be one of these type situations where it's just going to do this all day, where it can still sweep the daily high, but it also took the daily low. So we'll have a day similar to yesterday. Or we could see it where it doesn't revisit the high and it just push for lower prices as we close out the year. So I just wanted to make everyone aware of that. Let's just make sure that we understand what price that is. And remember, it's 17,066.00. I'm looking up at the S&P and I can see the S&P is already swept lows for the day during this hour. And we'll see if that happens with the Dow. The Dow made it slow during the 9 o'clock hour, so we'll see. Hmm. All right, Brad, I'm going to have to look a little deeper. I just pulled it up just to see what daily settlement was. I'm going to have to look a little deeper if I'm going to be able to explain it to you. Um, but in general, if you just want to day trade or do either scalping or something where you settle your trades during the same day, it's trading just like any other stock or foreign exchange trading. I do know that if you're trading with a prop firm, you have to close your trades by 10 after 4. So you're not allowed to carry it to the end of the day. I think that may have something to do with the settlement price, which is how the day closes. But I'm not 100% sure. So let me do some research on that. Okay, so we did sweep those lows. Nasdaq. Okay, on the daily, there's a small fair value gap that it could potentially find support in. Let me just pull that area up so we all can see what we're talking about. Oops, that's not going to help. There we go. So we can see we pushed past the low of yesterday. We're now at the low of Wednesday. And the low of Wednesday brings us a fair value gap from Wednesday's low to last Friday's high. Small area from around 17,055 to 17,041. So it's almost a 15-point range that price could find some support and then push out of. But we'll have to wait and see. Outside of this little space, on the daily, there's not a lot to talk about. Let's drop down to maybe the 4 hour. See if there's, nope, nothing here. Yeah, it's a small fair value gap here on the hourly, very small. We have a small one here as well, which has been revisited but not closed out, so it could be revisited again. And so this takes us down to around 16,990-ish. Let's drop back down. So there's a few places that price can go and still return bullish, but otherwise for now, we're just going to see how low it wants to go, especially since we missed the entry. Yeah, Brad, I think it is some sort of price that carries over. From what I was reading, it mentioned that the market determines whatever the settlement price is, even if it's different than the closing price. And then that's what confused me. I was like, what do you mean it's different than the closing price? So for that reason, I want to take a deeper look into it. You know what? All right, I pulled up the yearly chart because I'm sure most people never look at the yearly chart. I know I haven't looked at it in, I ever have. Maybe looked at the monthly, but never the yearly. So as we get ready to close out today, we can look and see what the candle's done. It's pretty much covered much of everything that was lost last year as we approach the all-time highs, which I believe was at 17,700. Yep, right there at 17,690. So we'll see if by the end of today, price wants to overtake either of these two levels, or if it wants to just be happy with where it is, settle here, and then let next year take over. Let's see. Last year, We had a huge fair value gap that was put in from the, from the COVID year and then 2021 that followed. We had a huge fair value gap, which is what last year traded into. We saw a big push out of it. So heading into next year, I'm still bullish based on the last year trading into a fair value gap, and then we're seeing a strong push out and a desire to put in higher prices. So that'll keep me bullish next year. Let's see what the monthly looks like. All right, we have the same here, but we had a mid-year high in July. We had a third quarter retracement into this fair value gap, as well as this one. And then strong movement out of it above the mid-year high, above this fair value gap, and pushing towards the upper limits of the all-time high. So yeah, I'm still heading into next year, I'm definitely bullish, no doubt about it. And we'll see if price starts to change, and then that'll change my sentiment. But as of now and heading into next week, we're gonna be bullish heading into 2024. Radical Genius, welcome back. Good to have you in the room again. Brad, I've been trading now for 3 years. 3 years this coming February, so almost there. Forgot my mistake. So I guess I should have realized that this being the last day of the year, we're gonna have to make a wick. Well, we don't have to, but candlesticks like to have wicks. So I guess I should have expected some level of bearish activity today. So I apologize for not having that in my analysis earlier. It makes total sense. Um, but I thought maybe that would be an afternoon type thing. But either way, we will see some level of pullback today. And if we don't get any bullish activity, it probably won't be, it shouldn't be that surprising. So let's just be flexible today and take exactly what price gives us. Let's not hold so strongly to a bias, only because we're at the last day of the year. So there's really not a goal of the market at this time. There's not a lot of volume either. So let's try to be a bit more flexible, including myself. So just wanted to throw that out there. Tax selling. Yep. All right. So we've had about 100-point sell off so far. From 10 o'clock, where we had a high of around 104-ish, and we're already down to 17,000 flat. We'll see if that's where price wants to go, and then it returns bullish or tries to do something else. But again, let's just be flexible and see where it wants to settle in at. Yeah, that's true. They definitely want their bonuses. 1680. Okay, 16080. At six, I'm assuming you're saying 16980, or are you saying 16800? All right, so I see the dollar. Dollar has now been bullish. When it was pushing hard earlier in the hour, it pushed down into a fair value gap below lows of yesterday. And as soon as it did, it immediately went bearish. Immediately went bullish and started buying up. Let me just show everybody what I'm talking about here. All right, so we had 10 o'clock push down, and now we've overtaken the open from 10 o'clock now into this fair value gap into the 9 o'clock hour. Okay, but we do have everything congruent now. We have all three indices selling, and we have the dollar buying. And as you can see, once that happened, price started to move really quickly. So yesterday, when I was talking about when they're not in sync, and price is kind of going sideways or making these really small incremental gains, and we call that a high resistance liquidity run. That's what I was talking about. Like, we're looking for low resistance liquidity run, and that's what we got now with the dollar moving in the opposite direction of the indices. So Sticky, you were in the trade. You caught the sell off. All right, let's identify these fair value gaps so we can see whenever they get traded into. There we go. And one more. right, let me figure out why I have this level marked off. It's relevant anymore, so we can delete that. $0.60 long on the tilt. Okay. Four contracts. Wow. Vicky, if I were you, I wouldn't trade anymore today, and I would try to carry that luck into next year. Don't think it jinxed you. It may have helped you. Yeah, that's amazing. Whether it was by accident or not. Good job. I'm right there with you, Chuck. Let's see if we can get that. And that's what I'm looking for. Okay. All right. With the 5 and 20 EMAs on the 30-minute chart. All right, Stephen. Okay, it's 11 o'clock now. So that hour, last hour, the 10 o'clock hour is now over. Just like Brad said, hopefully some people made money on that drop. Looked like we had at least one member in the room who did make money on the drop. Even if it was by accident, he still was in the trade. So He got paid. Adam, at the moment, I'm not looking to do anything, to be honest with you. Yeah, at the moment, I'm not looking to do anything. I may jump into a trade this hour, or I may just wait and see what the afternoon brings me. I'd like to welcome all newcomers to the channel. It looks like we have some people who've never been here before, or maybe this is possibly their second day joining. So I just want to welcome you in. Um, Feel free to jump in the chat and introduce yourself, how long you've been trading, where you're coming in from. Just to let everyone else know that you're here and some of your stats. I mean, we're a good group of people. And so I think you'll find us inviting and warm and yeah, it's good to have you. So welcome to all newcomers. Hmm. All right, MS. Good job. You were short from yesterday and you're still short. Got diamond hands. We all can learn a thing or two from you. Yeah, we have all three indices buying so far this hour. It's only been 3 minutes, but we do have bullish momentum from each of the three indices. So far, the dollar hasn't made a move yet, hasn't shown his hand. So we just want to wait and see how the dollar reacts during this hour. If the dollar continues to buy like it did last hour, then I would look for the indices to short, but let's wait and see. From December 26th, okay, from Tuesday. Okay. Here on the 15-minute at least. Is this, hopefully this is the one you were talking about, Chuck. Yeah, we had this one at 7:30 in the morning. And then we had this one at the opening bell. Right. And you can see right now price is right here in the middle of this one, but the low I believe is here. Let me see where the low landed. Wow, to the tick. Look at that. Not a tick below. 17,100 is the top to today's bottom. Okay. Fell 38%. Just stop above 50. Okay, we even saw that low swept by a couple ticks now. All right, so let's see how far price wants to push. Yep. All right, let's throw the 15-minute up on the big screen. Yeah, for those wondering, whenever I get lazy, I use this fair value gap nephew Sam indicator, which draws the fair value gaps for me. And then if you're in a small time frame where it just gets too busy, you can always just hide it if you don't want it anymore. But when you get tired of drawing, it's easy to just bring it back. $16,900. It's on its way, Dustin, so it absolutely can. Oops. Let's drop this to the 1 hour then. All right, new week opening gap. Okay, so we haven't revisited the new week opening gap. I didn't. All right. Oh, that's a new day opening gap on the day after Christmas. Okay, not the new week, new day. Or take it back. It's the same new week and new day, obviously. Duh. Okay. All right, so it looks like price may come back to revisit that level. So let's go ahead and prepare for 16,960-ish and see how price reacts from that level. And again, this is the opening on Tuesday. Well, I guess Monday at 1800. After the close on Friday at 1655. So 16,960. That's where we want to see how price reacts once it gets to that level. Dustin, I'm not sure if it's going to get all the way down to 16,900, but after it makes it down to 16,960, we'll take a look. $17,027, strong confluence to sell it. Stops above then. Oops. Get rid of this. Okay, on the hourly chart, we have the dollar selling, we have the Dow buying, we have S&P selling, we have Nasdaq selling. Okay, the Dow seems to be doing the right thing, but the S&P and Nasdaq are not following, so we need to wait for them to get on board. Let's see. Down. Let me jump over to ES really quickly. All right, so ES, to get down to the new week opening gap, we need to get down to 48 flat, which is about another 15 points or so. And we're still getting a push down from Nasdaq as well. So let's again wait for those two levels to be reached, and then see if we can get a reaction from that. At the same time, once those levels are reached, we want to then pay attention to where the dollar is. The dollar was just selling, and now I see it's retracing a bit. So it could actually change directions at the same time. So yeah, so we're gonna watch Nasdaq and ES, and once we get to these new week opening gap levels, then I'll reassess where we are and then what the dollar's doing. So let me just jump back over to Nasdaq. $16,980. Okay. Oh yeah, I think that's what you asked earlier, if I thought it could get down to 16,980. Yep. Yeah, so we're almost here. It's 16,964. Let's look at that regular trading hour gap. Oh, okay. Jeez. Look at that. Close it all in. McNulty, thanks for bringing that back up. Thanks for bringing that back up. I forgot all about it. I mean, right. That's but having this as a target of something that needed to close out before the year was up, it's a good idea. All right, let me switch back. to electronic trading hours. If anyone wants me to explain the electronic trading hours from regular trading hours, let me know. Looks like we have quite a few people in the room, more than usual, which is excellent. Excellent. It's great. It's a great thing to see. You guys can do me a favor and hit the like button. YouTube will then push out the video to other traders, and then we can get more people in the room. We just continue to grow the community here. So if you're liking the content and you're having a good time, please hit the like button. Helps out the channel a lot, and I really appreciate it. All right, so we did push past the new day and new week opening gap. We want to see where we close. After doing that, let me bounce over to ES and see if it made it down there just yet. Not quite, not quite. We need to get down to 48 flat. So it looks like it was about 6 points short, 5.5. Okay, we still have everything selling, all three indices and the dollar. How do you change the hour? The hour? The hours. Oh, you mean the regular trading and the electronic trading hours? Is that what you're talking about, Samuel? All right, give me 1 second. I'll show you. All right, Samuel. So down here, this corner, down where the time is, it says electronic trading hour. You just hit that button and then it'll give you the option. So electronic trading hour, for anyone not familiar, this is 23 hours per day. This is starting at 1800, going all the way to the following day and closing the charts at 1700. But if you do regular trading hours, that's considering only New York hours. So it's opening bell until 1630, I think. I think it's 9:30 to 6:30. And that's why you have these big yellow gaps here, is because I'll show you the times. Oops. We go to the hourly. Right, so you can see this candle here is Wednesday at 3:30, closing at 4:30. And then the very next candle is the opening bell the next morning at 9:30. So it closed at 4:30, was here at 17,126. And then the next morning at 9:30, the opening bell value was up here at 17,147. And so that created the gap here, which then it sold through, traded back in around the 50% mark and sold out of, down to a gap that hadn't been closed from Tuesday. So the gap from Friday until the day after Christmas had not been revisited until just now. All right, hope that helps. Yep. Brother Free, good job. Sweet, sweet. Glad you made your TP for the day. Do we have anyone in here who is not using TradingView? If you're using a different platform to trade with or to just look at price, put it in the chat on what you're using. I just made the assumption that everyone's using TradingView. Oh yeah, see you next year, man, for sure. Have a good rest of your day. Have a good weekend. Have a happy new year. We'll catch you on Tuesday morning. Oh, Ninja Trader. Okay. Tradovate for Jello. All right. Yeah, Jello. I trade at Tradovate as well. But Tradovate you can log in through TradingView, so that's what I use. Think or Swim. All right, Chuck. I've heard of that one. Yeah, that's smart. If you don't want to sit there and watch it all day long, you just set up some alerts for some levels you're looking at, and then have it let you know what's going on when it happens. Okay, Stefan, you're using Schwab. Yeah, I think a couple people did catch the move down. They are putting it in the chat, so you'll see those who did catch it, and they'll let you know where they got in, where they placed their stop, and then where their TPs were. All right, let's go back and see if friends at ES. Okay, nope, I can see now. They still haven't made it. So ES still another 7 points away from reaching that 48,000 flat level. You know, let's check on the Dow and see where that level is on the Dow. Oh wow, okay. So the Dow has quite a ways to go, another 200 points. So the Dow most likely won't make it. And if it does, that means that we're probably bearish for the rest of the day if the Dow ends up making it down there. Oh, okay. All right, John. TradingView and the Ninja Trader. All right. Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to get a feel for what people are using because I just make the assumption that everyone's using TradingView. And so when I start talking about things or clicking on things, I feel like you all are following along. And now I realize that not everyone's able to, or the option is going to be different on whatever platform you're using. 16,900. Oh, yeah, you did ask for that, Dustin. I forget it. I'll leave it. 10-year treasuries are bearish. Okay. That's good. Mr. Sticky. It's a stick. I had that happen to me one time. One time I think I had taken a trade during the Asia session, maybe before I went to sleep, and I forgot to close it or something happened. And I opened up the computer in the morning, just not really knowing, not really paying attention really. I looked at the screen and all of a sudden I was up a couple grand on a trade I didn't even know I was in. And so I immediately just shut it down and took what I had. Let's go back down to lower time frames. Let's take off this. All right. Hey, everyone's responsible for their own account. So good luck to you. Looks like there might be a little more room for bearish momentum, but again, we'll see. ES is finally starting to push a little bit lower as it approaches that 48,000, 4,800 even. Still has another 5 points or so to get there. Alrighty. Look at MS. 80% off. Must have had a lot of contracts. All right, ladies and gents, give me 2 minutes to go and refill and get my last cup of coffee today. Give me 2 minutes. All right, here we go. All right, about 30 minutes left for the morning session. All right, ES still has not reached the 4,800 even level. So I'm going to keep waiting for that to happen. And until ES reaches its target, we're not going to really analyze what's coming up next. We just need ES to continue pushing lower. About another 3.5 points to go. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Awesome. Yeah, thank you everyone who hit the like button earlier. That's much appreciated. Much appreciated. Jump over to ES and see if let's just watch it for a few minutes and so we can see when it gets there. All right, we got equal lows, which we should see taken out relatively soon. Oh, Brad, thank you so much for your support. I enjoy having you around as well. I mean, it's been good to. It was good. It was a good idea to start this. I wasn't sure what to expect, but I did see some of the other guys, and I realized I'm not them. That's not my personality, and I didn't know if this would be successful or if people on YouTube would want someone with my style, or if they were really looking for someone to entertain them. And so this is great to hear. Thank you for your feedback. All right, John, thank you very much. You also have been great in this room. I enjoy the comments. It's mostly the same people, so it's good for me to get to know the people in the room, especially those who are going to come back on a daily basis. And yeah, it's been a good experience so far. I'm really enjoying it, and I'm looking forward to 2024. Just passed. Okay, yeah, we're just waiting for it on the ES to get down here. Get down here to 48.25. 4800.25. That's what we're looking for. I've been asked a bunch of times if I can sing, and trust me, I can't. But I have had several people mention that I have a radio voice, or that I sound like the Allstate guy. L-Bomb Inc. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome to the channel. Good to have you. And as of right now, there's 72 people in the room, the most we've ever had since we've been live streaming. So congratulations to all of you. Thank you very much for being here. I appreciate your support. And let's hope we can close this out strong for the next half hour. And then we'll come back this afternoon for one more session. And then we'll close out the year and celebrate for a few days and jump back into it on Tuesday. You're in good hands. I haven't traded US 30 in over a year, but I could. I mean, I could take another look at it. It's an indice. It's one of the primary indices, just like ES and Nasdaq. So we would expect similar price action to those two. So the three indices we expect to move in the same direction. The thing about US 30 is it's a mover. It definitely moves, and so you got to be quick with your executions, but you also got to have a sizable stop loss for any type of retracement so you don't get stopped out. But I used to trade, matter of fact, that's how I started. US 30 was what I traded for the first probably year that I was trading. Come on, ES. Break through. Give us 3 more points to the downside. There we go. Yeah, and just like I'm getting good feedback from you guys on how your trading has improved. I mean, my entries and calmness towards trading has also improved by sitting in front of you and then talking about the candles and waiting for my entry and setting up limit orders. Yeah, I've been a little happy this week moving my stop loss and trying to protect my position, which has led to a lot of break evens. But I'll get back on track to where I believe in my trades a little more and am able to leave my stop loss where it is so I can get all the way to TP. We'll get that going next week or maybe the week after. It just depends on when I feel more comfortable with price action. But don't worry, we're on our way. Bruno, absolutely. I do absolutely believe it's a viable option for people outside the US. You'll have to check which prop firms you want to use to see if they are available outside the US. But I do believe that's probably your best bet. Just because it's once you learn how to trade, it's relatively inexpensive to get going, and the risk is all on them. And the most you can risking is losing the challenge. Or once you get a funded account, the most you can lose is really nothing. You just lose your funding. So I think that is a good option. Outside the US, you'll just have to double check with each prop firm to see if they are offering membership from those outside the US. I'll take a look at Topstep just since that's the one I'm promoting, just so I can have a better understanding of which countries are able to sign up for Topstep. But in the event that you're not able to sign up for a prop firm and trade futures, there are other prop firms where you can sign up and trade CFDs, some of the Forex ones like My Forex Fund or I can't remember the others. I'm not really affiliated with them or haven't used them ever. So that's why I always forget whenever I'm trying to remember. But there are a bunch of prop firms that also do Forex, and they'll let you trade CFDs, which are similar to futures. But instead of trading ES, you'll be trading the S&P 500 or whatever, or US 500, I believe is what they call it. That kind of thing. Just broke downward trend line. All right. Move it from risking 1%. Oh, I see. Okay. That's actually not a bad idea. Just to you reduce your risk, but you still leave something on the table so price can retrace a little bit and still expand. Okay. That's actually not a bad idea, Samuel. I might look into that during my next back testing session just to see if I can adjust the stop loss somewhere from where I normally place it. But I don't generally have a 1% or a percentage stop loss. Is for mine. For me, it's based on the candles on whatever time frame I'm taking the trade. Especially if I'm taking a silver bullet or if I'm doing a breaker block setup. But either way, I see what you're saying. Just reduce your risk by half. I'll tell you more times than not, when I get stopped out at break even, usually the low of the retracement is right around where I entered. So it stops me out and it doesn't go much further than that. Okay, everyone, coming up on about 15 minutes left in this session, or 15 minutes left before lunch, should I say. All right, all three indices plus the dollar all selling. Clearly why this hour hasn't really produced much. But we'll see if the dollar turns around and, well, actually the dollar, we don't need the dollar to turn around. What we want to see is the indices to turn around. We want the dollar to continue to push downwards. That'll may happen in the next hour. And if it doesn't happen in the next hour, we'll be back at 1 o'clock. And then hopefully it'll deliver something so we can get a nice confidence booster headed into the weekend. Mark that up just so we can see if that's broken. We hope it's not, but let's see. Exactly. Let's get us $1,000 trade for sure. Primary risk reward. I try to do, so it depends. If I'm scalping, my risk reward is 1-to-1. This is for Bruno. So if I'm scalping, my risk reward is 1-to-1. If any other kind of trade I'm taking, whether it's a fair value gap trade, a optimal trade entry, a breaker block, any of those type of strategies, I'm looking for a 1-to-2. And I try to keep my stop loss below 20 points. If I see the stop needs to be more than 20, in a lot of cases, I'll either wait for a retracement even deeper into the fair value gap, maybe to the 50% level, or I'll just stay out of that trade and look for a different setup. You can occasionally bounce around between different time frames and you can find a tighter entry. But some cases, if you're on the 1 minute or the 30-second and it's still a 25 or 30 point stop loss, for me, it's not worth it to enter at that point. So I try to keep it below 20, and I'm usually looking for a 1-to-2 unless I'm scalping. All right, broke through. Not sure what that means, but I don't like the fact that we broke through without reaching down and touching that new week opening gap. I wanted to see this. Right now we have equal highs here, or maybe yet here. Right? Who was I talking to earlier about getting in too early? Okay, that was Brad I talked to about being too early. Yep. And so these are the kind of situations that when I was too early is when that's what happened. It's like I knew I was waiting for something to sweep down and touch a key level. But since it started to show me what I was looking for just before it, I would take that trade and it would show good momentum at one point, and then it would still sweep and touch down where I wanted it to go. And so that was one of the things that I had to learn about getting in early. It was not only did I need to see the setup the way I needed it, but it also needed to have the prerequisites of completing whatever task I thought it should do beforehand. But Brad, if you're in this trade already, I'm not trying to say that you were in wrong. That's not what I'm saying. Because it could very well take off and this be the entry that we were all looking for. $79. Wow. Okay. Close above that 48.08. Yeah, absolutely. So the fair value gap inside of the breaker, that's usually exactly where you want to enter from. I'm just a little cautious right now, but I marked that up because that's what I would like to see usually if I didn't have that target that I wanted it to see below. And let me just, and this is for ES. So this is for anyone who's an ES trader. If you're a Nasdaq trader, holy cow. A bit late, but I just thought I'd mark up these breakers to see how price reacts from them. Bruno, no, I only trade the indices, so only the US indices. Futures, as you mentioned, yes, I only trade futures for the US indices. I haven't branched out into any of the foreign exchanges or any stocks or anything like that. No other commodities either, whether it be gold, silver, or oil. But from what I understand from people who've been trading much longer than me, it's the same principles work. You just figure out what you like best, and whatever you like, the same trading dynamics are present on all charts. Hey, we're getting close. We got about 5.5 minutes remaining. So I want to open the floor for any final questions, any final comments, anything you want to say about this morning session before we go away and come and take a break for an hour and come back for the afternoon. Yeah, you're right, Chuck. I've been on both sides. Get in late and you have a bad entry, and so the any type of retracement makes you nervous, have your palms sweaty. If you get in too early and it takes you out of the trade, then you don't want to take the second time when it's actually the real trade, and so you end up missing it and then beating yourself up for the rest of the day because you didn't re-enter. Yeah, I've been there too. It's it's something you have to get used to, and just understand that that's just part of trading. And the more confidence that you get in your actual entry is where you'll be able to get in that second time after you realize you were too early. Because for the most part, once after a year and a half, you're pretty good at market technicals. You know where the price is going next. You can see when a reversal is coming. You just don't know exactly when it's coming. How do I pick my session bias? Generally, so I don't know if you were here at the very beginning, but I did a high level um, market analysis earlier, and so generally what I'll do is, especially in the morning, is I'm looking for whatever my weekly bias was, whether it's bullish or bearish. That's my daily bias every day of that week. So I'm looking, if I'm bullish for the week, I'm looking for every day to push higher, unless there was a weekly or monthly key level that we've reached. Then maybe I'll pull back and say, okay, well, all right, let's pause a little bit and see what the market wants to give. But generally, that's how I start my bias for the day. After that high has been met or low or whatever that is, from there, then it's just market structure. You just have to pay attention to market structure on a higher level, and then use a lower time frame to execute. Yeah, Malik, I've heard that from several people talk about that. I think they hear it from the left side. For whatever reason, my audio is being transmitted in mono as opposed to stereo. And I'm not really sure because I checked my settings on OBS and everything was stereo. So don't know exactly what the problem is, but that's on a list of things to continue to look into this weekend. Since there's no streaming on Monday, I have an extra day to look into a few things, and that's on the list. Best now, Bruno. Yeah, I'm starting to see more names in the chat, which is very encouraging. And that's good for me because I get a chance to talk a little bit more than just about what the next candle is. And also, it's good for me to know that you guys are comfortable and willing to chat while you're here. So thank you all for that. Yep. Any final questions? And on that note, on your way out, please hit the like button. Let's make sure that since this was the most watched live stream that we've had so far, let's make sure this is the most liked live stream as well. And anyone who's just found me or, just kind of stumbled in, been here maybe a couple times and kind of on the fence, go ahead and subscribe so you get future live stream invites. I'm positive that if you continue to come to the live stream that you'll find it worthwhile and you'll join the community and feel welcome here. So please like and subscribe. And I guess that's all I got for the morning session. For anyone who's not going to be here this afternoon, I want to thank you for being here. I hope you have a good weekend and New Year celebration, and come back next year full of energy and ready to trade. And we'll be live Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. New York time. And that's for anyone who's not going to join the live stream this afternoon. For all of you coming back this afternoon, have a good hour break. And then, yeah, we'll talk in an hour. I had a good time. I'm pumped. I'm ready to go. And I hope that this afternoon is as eventful as this morning was. We missed a move. We were looking for a bullish move. Tried to silver bullet at 10 o'clock hour. Didn't work out. But there were several people in the room who caught that short and ran it all the way down. So good for them. And yeah, thank you all for being here. I appreciate it so much. And for anyone who's going to be here this afternoon, talk to you in an hour. David Pena, thank you very much, man. I appreciate your subscription. Hope to talk to you and see you soon. All right, everyone. Have a good break or a good weekend. I'll be back in an hour. Till then, take care.